Okay, welcome. It is Tuesday, September 14th. It is 5:31. I think I mentioned that this is a select board special meeting. I am here. My name is Roger Arnold. I'm here in Tracy Hall. I'm joined by Claudette Brochu, Rob Gear, Mary Layton, and Marcia Calloway virtually. And then Rod Francis is next to me as well here in Tracy Hall. The first item on the agenda is the approval of agenda, and I have a suggested addition. So I would like to add to the agenda a rather emergency purchase of an air compressor for the highway garage. Board members received a memo authored by our new finance director, Fielding Asensa, outlining the history of what went wrong with our current compressor. Actually, I will explain it. Anyway, board members were provided supporting documentation, and so I would like to add that to the top of our agenda. So can I get a motion for that? Okay. So, okay, Brochu moved and seconded by Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. So we'll talk about it more right after we take public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to make a comment, which is next on our agenda? No one is here with me, and I don't see anyone with us, so we can say no public comments. So now the item that I was just trying to describe was board members received a memo from our new finance director that outlined the history of this needed purchase. Provided there were quotes and supporting documentation for 3 different avenues. And there were also documentation regarding the available funds for this. The only thing I would say that was not provided in the memo was that this may or may not be considered a capital budget item, but there was no mention of this item in any of the draft documents that were previously authored by our former town manager, and it's been 15 years for this life cycle. So I'll add that. Rod is here to answer any questions.
What's up with the audio?
I don't have an explanation.
Okay.
So an explanation on what?
Mary asked me about audio. So
yeah, I can't help you with that.
Go ahead, Claudette.
I don't have the vendor's name in front of me. Do you have a motion written up?
We don't have a vendor. We don't have a motion written up. What I would say is that, without wanting to sort of stand on procedure too much, it's under the maximum amount that the town manager would traditionally be authorized to spend without coming before the select board. So strictly speaking, I don't believe a motion is necessary. I should say that while I've got the floor, that the reason why we're having this agenda item is that I'm in an acting capacity. Fielding is brand new. I didn't want you to encounter the AP with a large expense on it subsequently and then have questions. I wanted to run this past you first so that you're aware of the expenditure. And then both Fielding and I did research. It didn't come up on any capital equipment list. It's debatable as to whether it is an item of capital. It's kind of not exactly a tool, but it's a tool that you use to make sure that other tools can work. It depreciates really quickly in terms of its value, but it's a critical piece of equipment. It's kind of central to the operation of the whole garage.
Yeah, I'm fine with the purchase. That's
Okay.
So I think Claudette was looking for the vendor so she can make a motion to affirm it, but I think Rod is saying we don't necessarily need to do that. But I think if we have any comments or even an offer of thanks, we could just simply do that and then move on with our next agenda item. But Mary, I do see your hand up.
I think the vendor is United Compressor. I thought the memo was very clear, the logic of the intended purchase. It's quite good. So I support it.
Likewise.
Marcia, any comments?
I don't know much about air compressors. I looked up some and it seemed pricier than others. But we have to take their word for it, I guess.
I think the price was explained potentially by the context, which I think was outlined in the memo, because of the emerging supply chain issues and knowing how integral the item is to the highway garage. There was that consideration of urgency.
Yeah, they were just saying everything else was inferior. So, but I looked up the same one that we had, I thought, and it was less money, but again, whatever they think they need.
I think the question there, Masha, is that really this one's on a shelf in the bottom end of New Hampshire, and it could be here as early as next week. And the guys are very clear that they need an air compressor to run the jacks so that they can install the snow plows on the trucks. And the next best available time for any of these other products that they looked at is a minimum of 8 to 12 weeks. And so
The time element.
the
Yeah.
time element is really important.
And it sounds like good quality.
Okay,
we should-
Warranty.
We
Yeah.
should note that it may have a 15-year lifespan, usable lifespan
Uh-huh.
for future
Hopefully.
planning. Yeah.
Right.
right.
point.
Yes, hopefully the life cycle could be better anticipated. So we would not be making a purchase with the urgency, right? Okay, so I think we discussed it. I appreciate the reasons why this was brought for us. I'm not going to take a motion because we're not required to do
Not necessary.
for policy. So I'm just going to, unless there's further discussion, I'm going to move on. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, I really appreciate that.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
So yeah, Rod is heading out.
Bye, Rod.
Okay, so I'm going to, I have no idea what's going on with the sound. I'm sorry. I move to enter executive session under 1 VSA section 313A3 to discuss an applicant for the position of interim town manager.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Jackie, I'm going to be putting you in the waiting room so we can have our executive session.
No worries. I'm going to leave. I was just looking for Rod. Thanks.
Okay.
We've got a meeting at 6:30. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep,
Bye-bye.
it's upstairs.
I move to enter public session.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay, made by
second.
Claudette, seconded by Mary at 6:25. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Is there an action we wish to take?
Yeah, I move that we authorize the select board chair to offer conditional employment to the interim town manager candidate, subject to background check, reference check, and salary and contract agreement.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, made by Claudette, seconded by Mary. Any further discussion on that? Okay, I think that motion says it all, right? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, unanimous. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Please not, I'd like to make a public comment.
Okay, it is 6:26. You may make your public comment, Linda
Well,
Cook,
I've been
but
waiting for you to come back to public.
okay, and we came back in public at 6:25, so go ahead.
And I told you I was here.
Okay, well, welcome. Go ahead, public comment.
So I'd like to hear the motion again.
Okay. Who would, Claudette, may you repeat your motion for
Yep.
a member of the public?
I move to authorize the select board chair to offer conditional employment to the interim town manager candidate, subject to background check, reference check, and agreement on contract and salary contract,
Terms.
Agreement.
Terms.
contract term, an agreement, yes.
Okay,
And there was a second by,
By me.
It was seconded by Mary and made by Claudette. Yep.
okay, so you're not changing the name at this point.
No, it was subject to, it's
Okay.
subject to the terms outlined in our motion.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and sorry to press, it's just we have another meeting scheduled at 6:30. And so at 6:27, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Okay,
Second,
seconded by Rob. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Linda Cook, member of the public. Thank you to all of you. We'll adjourn.
Thank you.
Take care.
Well, the problem I had was I read,